I'm Kristen Oaks-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. A big part of agriculture is the power of community. That power is on full display every year in Southwest Louisiana, where special needs children get a full day at a rodeo just for them.
The Brody Memorial Rodeo started in 2022 and shows no signs of slowing down. As each year the crowds get bigger and bigger. TWILA's Josh Meeks saddled up at the Burton Coliseum in Lake Charles.
Typically inside the Burton complex, it's cows and horses kicking up the dirt. At the Brodeo, it's the kids who get to cut loose.
It's nice to let them just be able to run and do whatever they want to do, you know, and not have rules. Like they're just running and going. Everyone's just doing what they want to do.
Daniel Needham's brought his son Aiden to the Brodeo since it started 4 years ago.
He looks forward to playing in the dirt and being with his friends.
Started in 2022 by Joanne and Jimmy Moe, Brodeo is short for the Brody Moe Memorial Rodeo. Brody passed away in 2019 from a rare neurodevelopmental disorder. The Moes created this rodeo for special needs kids to honor Brody's memory. Every kid that steps into the arena gets a curated experience. Volunteers guide them to different stations that include cattle roping, hide brushing, and barrel racing.
It's so awesome. You know, I love running barrels myself, and getting to share that with these kids, it's awesome. I really love the ones that are super excited to do this. You know, I've had a couple run off with me, try and go as fast as they can, but it's super amazing.
Volunteers like Steely Jordan get to share their passions for livestock, agriculture, and rodeos to kids one-on-one. Some parents, like Jake and Rebecca Potts, watch from the stands so their daughter Olivia can feel free to explore.
She has her animals she plays with, but with my work schedule how it is, sometimes she don't always get to go do the stuff that we like her to go do. So it's nice for her to have stuff like this where she can cut a little bit more loose and be around peers her own age.
You can see it on their faces. You can hear it in their yee-haws. For kids who love animals, the Brodeo is a dream come true.
Animals are his thing. He will wake up mooing. He will wake up neighing like a horse. It's like he's dreaming about them 24/7. We go visit them across the field from our house, and all our books are animals, our toys are animals. It's all he thinks about.
Lacey Armentor is the mother of 5.5-year-old Porter. She says the Brodeo isn't just a place for Porter to have the time of his life, it's a place where she feels loved and welcome too.
That's the beautiful thing about being in the special needs community is you instantly connect. You can be in any kind of public place and you see a special needs mom and you feel comfortable walking over, introducing yourself, connecting and saying, hey, I get it, I've been there, I live this life, and like we got some stuff in common.
It feels like you're with people you've known your whole life. Even when you don't know somebody, you step in and they have someone who's a family member or a child or someone they care for who's in the same situation you are. They've dealt with these kids their whole lives. A lot of these teachers have been doing this for 30 plus years. They deal with kids with autism and different disorders.
265 students attended this year's Brodeo, along with 200 volunteers giving helping hands. Brody Moe would have turned 27 this month. And guys, this event is only in its 4th year, and it's this crowded. I was so blown away by how many people are involved in this thing.
Yeah, but with a crowd like that, what surprised you about having that many children in one place?
Well, you would see this many kids and think it would just be ruckus and chaos. It was so quiet and so calm with all these kids running around because these volunteers are so dedicated to making it a fun and enjoyable time for them.
I can give you some crazy kids if you want to.
I'm good, thank you.
If you wanted to get a taste of it.
All right, thanks a lot, Josh Meeks.
Farm labor is hard to find, and farmers will tell you they cannot get locals to do the work. In fact, at least one sugarcane farmer in West Baton Rouge Parish says he puts ads in the paper every single year to hire help, and he has yet to have anyone respond. That's why it's big news that the federal government is making immediate changes to the legal guest worker program at a critical time for crawfish farmers and processors. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security and Labor is temporarily increasing the number of H-2B visas available this year, adding nearly 65,000 visas to allow migrant workers to travel to the U.S. for farm jobs. Louisiana Congresswoman Julia Letlow says Louisiana's seasonal labor needs are high, and the crawfish industry has long pushed for more reliable access to workers.
They are going to be able to continue now that President Trump has delivered for them. And I am so grateful to President Trump for doing this for Louisiana. It is all about building relationships and to get things done.
46,000 of those visas will be set aside for returning workers who have previously obtained H-2B visas. Speaking of crawfish, let's take a look at some of the prices for some of that deliciousness from around the state.
In Lafayette, Rouse's Market on Bertrand Drive is selling live crawfish for $6.99 a pound and boiled crawfish $7.99 a pound.
In Pineville, head over to T Boogie's, where you can find them for $6.99 a pound live or $8.99 a pound for boiled.
Continuing north to Monroe, Coney Island Riverside sells crawfish for $6.49 a pound live and $7.99 a pound boiled.
These crawfish prices are brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, which reminds you to always eat Louisiana crawfish and to make sure, ask before you eat.
The battle to keep hamburgers and steaks on your plates is moving north. The U.S. Department of Agriculture announced that it is shifting its aircraft northward in the fight to stop the New World screwworm from making it into the country. Currently, USDA aircraft are releasing 100 million sterile flies each week in Mexico. Those aircraft will move to the Texas-Mexico border and as far as 50 miles inland into Texas. The northernmost case of New World screwworm is about 200 miles south of the border. All of this comes weeks after the Centers for Disease Control issued a nationwide health advisory about NWS, even though there has been no infestation in animals or humans in the United States. The pirogue has been a common sight in Louisiana, providing a means of transportation across many generations and cultures. The wooden versions have been disappearing lately, replaced with more modern materials.
This week, TWILA's Neil Melancon shows us how one man is trying to save the cypress pirogue and preserve the boats that help make Louisiana.
This shed doesn't just contain boats, it contains thousands of years of Louisiana history. For Ernie Savoy, it's a priceless collection of wooden pirogues, which he pronounces pirogues. It all comes from his family history when these boats were vital to the commerce and lifestyle of South Louisiana.
My great-grandfather, he was basically a farmer, and the properties he would clear, the cypress trees he would harvest, he would build dugout pirogues with. And the story went that if you worked 9 days in his field, he would pay you with a dugout.
Some of those tools are here in his shed and are still in use today. They range from primitive to modern, representing knowledge going back to the Native American tribes in this area. Savoy says it all starts with agriculture and selecting the right wood even before you start the job.
If you don't have the right log, you can't make the dugouts. So it all came in a process of how the wood was. And most of the stuff I have is cypress. Now it's all come down to, if you can get the wide planks, you can build a plank pirogue, or you can put planks together.
You can see some of the differences in the pirogues. While cypress dominates, he does incorporate other wood depending on what his customers want.
This is all reclaimed cypress. Basically, the cypress is new. The plywood is reclaimed. All the fur seats and stuff that are in it, that's all reclaimed lumber.
A common misconception is that these boats have flat bottoms. Savoy says there's actually a gentle curve in there for a very good reason.
These old trappers and everything, that was their work tool. I mean, they brought these things in the marsh, they push bowled them all day long, loaded down with nutria and muskrat, whatever they were catching, you know. So it's like the ease. It's just an easier method of going across the shallow marsh. That's what they were designed for, to hunt the shallows. So, you know, and then like I said, the round bottom dugouts are much easier to go because nothing sticks.
Savoy is also preserving these boats for the next generation. You might have seen this famous pirogue before. Savoy didn't build it, but is trying to both learn from it and preserve it for the future.
It's 42 years old. They built this at the 1984 World's Fair. It's been in the museum since that time. Basically, it started out, they had it in Nichols inside the building. For many years it stayed there, and then when they moved to Lockport, they brought it in, and this was basically one of our showpieces there at the museum.
Savoy came by the boat honestly. He's been trying to preserve both these boats and their craft through the Center for Traditional Louisiana Boat Building. After their original building was destroyed in Hurricane Ida, Savoy is now trying to build a permanent home for them at Nichols State in Thibodaux.
The drawback on that is having to raise probably about $3 million to build a state-of-the-art museum, workshop area, and pretty much to house all over 70-something boats that we own. So it's a collection that's got a tremendous story, and it's to keep all of this alive, and it's to keep telling the stories of these boat builders.
The Center for Traditional Boat Building is accepting donations to help build their educational building on Nichols campus. We'll link you over to their website at ours@twilatv.org. And guys, just watching him work, I mean, you could see his hands moving. I don't know if it captured it in the 3 minutes, but it's a lot to build one of those pirogues. But it's really satisfying work, and you can see his pride in it. And each one of those, I mean, when he gets done with it, there's something accomplished. And the one he was working on that day went to an older lady who had one sitting in her garage for a long time and just wanted it restored. She wasn't going to use it. She just loved the beauty of it and appreciated its cultural value.
Well, in typical Kristen Oaks fashion, I'm going to ask you, what'd you bring me? Did you bring me a pirogue?
A whole pirogue? No. I brought you some wood chips from Cypress, if that's what you want.
I'll take it.
All right.
I'll take it. Neil Malone saw a truly interesting story. Great job.
Well, still to come on TWILA is the oldest HBCU livestock show in the country. We'll look at how things are shaping up at Southern University for this month's event.
And later in the show, the determination and resilience of farmers shines through after a brutal winter storm. Stay with us.
You're watching This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
Rice, crawfish, beef, and sugar. These are some staple Louisiana commodities you'll find on your table.
In this edition of Road to Leadership, we meet a farmer who grows all four of those crops and credits Louisiana Farm Bureau for the ability to grow his farm, his confidence, and his influence.
I'm Aaron Lee. My wife Jamie and I are the chairs of the Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee for the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation. We farm rice, sugarcane, cattle, and crawfish along with my family in southern Vermilion Parish. I've known about Farm Bureau my whole life. My father was on the parish board at one time and on the Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee when I was a young kid. But my career in it really started when I went to LSU in college. I just knew I had a passion for agriculture and I wanted to farm when I got out of school, and I was trying to find a way to have the encouragement to do it, and Farm Bureau was the answer. You know, things weren't all that great on the farm at the time, and you know, the whole time I was at school, all I was thinking about was what I could be doing on the farm, and I've always had a passion for agriculture, so I've always wanted to stay in that field. I'm a sixth generation on this farm now, so that was in the back of my mind the whole time. Like, I need to keep this going. And even when things are bad, you need to find encouragement and help from elsewhere, and that's where Farm Bureau came into play. And I met a lot of people that you know, after I got involved, it really showed me that, you know, I can do this and I can be successful at it. And we've grown the farm substantially since I graduated and started farming with my father. I invest my personal time with Farm Bureau because I see the benefits that it's given to me and my farm, and I want to help grow the organization to help other farmers and ranchers like myself. Being on the Young Farmers and Ranchers State Committee, when we do the DC fly-in with the other members of the committee and meet with all of our congressmen and representatives up there in Washington, D.C., and see firsthand that we are making a difference, and they actually are listening to us when we have problems. Personally, I think I kind of owe my success to Farm Bureau because of how it's helped me grow into a leader and have confidence to do things like we're doing now, to tell my story and give other people the encouragement to tell their story. I would say that Farm Bureau has changed my life in a positive way. I have more confidence to speak in front of a camera. I have confidence to speak to our representatives and to other people in the industry. You know, if I'm having a problem, I'm not scared to ask what the solution may be.
Heads up, animal lovers, the 83rd Annual Southern University Livestock Show is coming up later this month.
Abigail Whittam from WBRZ in Baton Rouge has the story.
the Maurice A. Edmond Arena. From the outside, it may look like just a building, but it's the home of the longest-standing HBCU livestock show.
So the livestock show here at the university has been going on for 83 years. It was started by J.W. Fisher.
What started as a poultry show in 1943 now features everything, from goats to cows and chickens. But what makes this show so special?
For one, it's the only HBCU that still has one, and that's a big deal to us and to the community here and surrounding areas in Louisiana.
What has kept this show going for so long?
The legacy of it. It's the legacy. We have great-grandfathers coming. We have great-grandchildren coming. It's just a family-oriented show.
When they say legacy, they aren't lying. One father-daughter duo knows this the best.
It's definitely one of our biggest bonding things, and he's always there to help if I ever need anything. He's like, I don't think I would even be able to be showing how I am if he wasn't helping me with it all.
The Knight family has been in the livestock business since the 50s, and it's still standing strong in 2026.
Oh, it's definitely rewarding, to have your kids still have a little interest in the same things you do, and kind of what built your family legacy.
If livestock shows aren't your thing, don't worry. There's a huge lineup of events that you can take part in.
This year's annual State Livestock and Poultry Show is February 26th through the 28th at the Maurice A. Edmond Arena, which is about 4 miles north of Southern's main campus.
Still to come on TWILA, thinking about starting up your own little agricultural endeavor in your backyard? We've got some tips for you after the break. We've been following the growing interest in homesteading events across the state. At these gatherings, folks are learning everything from how to start a backyard vegetable garden to the ins and outs of beekeeping.
It's fitting that Louisiana's Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry, Dr. Mike Strain, keeps a produce garden of his own. Suzanne Ferreira takes us to see just how deep those roots run.
The Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry would like to express our sincere thanks to everyone in our agriculture and forestry communities.
We know him as Louisiana's Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry, leading one of the most vital, multifaceted agencies in our state. Dr. Mike Strain's post carries hefty responsibilities, protecting and promoting the state's multi-billion-dollar agriculture, forestry, and aquacultural world on local, national, and international levels is only part of his job. Born and raised on a cattle farm, one could argue Commissioner Strain's dedication and lengthy list of accolades stem from his deep roots in rural life. Moreover, spurred by the hard work ethic of his grandparents, all of which help solidify his inherent core values. He reminisces about the days in the family garden.
I came up, some of the fondest memories I have is with my family, my brother, my dad, my uncle, all out there growing the gardens. And I can remember when he bought that first big farm-all tractor. And, as a young person, as a kid, I would sit up there and my feet wouldn't even touch the pedals.
Those feet are now pressing the gas, driving Louisiana's agricultural achievements to unforeseen levels. Proudly, he still uses the same farm-all tractor in the family garden today as he works in tandem with his brother.
And we grow pretty good-sized gardens. Now, my father and uncle grew massive gardens. They were huge. Ours are large, but they're not that big yet.
And the bountiful reward is worth it.
But fresh broccoli, fresh cauliflower, fresh Brussels sprouts, especially when you get into the time of the year, we have those fresh Creole tomatoes, right? And all those different things, okra and everything else.
And perhaps the biggest payoff.
It's healthy, it's nutritious, it's good for you. But the other good part about it is when you're out there in the garden working, it's like your cares go away. And of course, it's just very good for you.
Commissioner Strain is also a beekeeper. Add to his agricultural repertoire, he's a veterinarian, manages timber, and a former avid cattleman, all of which
gives me a better insight to what is going on across the state with all of our agricultural pursuits. So it keeps me rooted.
In Baton Rouge, Suzanne Ferreira reporting.
Here's a good tip for growing your home garden. Commissioner Strain recommends buying a soil testing kit from your local LSU Ag Center Extension office. That $10 kit will give you a wealth of information. Winter Storm Fern left behind widespread damage across rural Louisiana, but it also revealed the strength of the communities who call it home.
Last week's brutal ice storm delivered something many of us had never experienced before. Homes without power, farms without water, roads blocked by fallen trees and ice-covered power lines. Families doing everything they could to stay warm, protect livestock, and keep their operations going through brutal conditions. For some communities, this wasn't just a storm. It was uncertainty. It was days without heat or running water. And in some heartbreaking cases, it was loss. And for farmers and ranchers, the storm didn't pause responsibilities. Animals still needed care. Equipment still had to run. Water systems froze. Barns, greenhouses, and poultry houses literally collapsed. And many producers were dealing with their own losses while still worrying about their neighbors. But when you look past the destruction, another story emerges. Across rural towns and farming communities, people showed up. Neighbors checked on neighbors. Farmers cleared roads with tractors and skid steers. Ranchers shared generators, fuel, and hay. Churches opened their doors, offering warmth, hot meals, and a place to recharge, both phones and spirits. Volunteers knocked on doors, especially checking on the elderly and those stranded in the cold. Linemen and emergency crews worked around the clock in dangerous conditions to restore power and water. Local crews cleared debris, and in quiet moments, people simply sat and listened, because sometimes what someone needed most was reassurance that they weren't alone. This storm left behind real damage to homes, to infrastructure, and to agricultural operations. But it also revealed something just as powerful: the resilience of farm families, the generosity of rural communities, and the understanding that in agriculture, survival is never a solo act. Farmers and ranchers know that when one operation is hurting, the whole community feels it. And when times are tough, you step up even if you're hurting too. Storms may knock us down, but they also remind us who we are. And last week, our farm and rural communities proved that even in the coldest, darkest days, there are still a light for one another.
I mean, that was really touching. I went up there to Oak Grove shortly after the ice storm to see just how many people were working together to get that community. I was meeting with people who had been without power for almost a week at that point.
It's hard to grasp because I still haven't been up there. Like my parents' house and their operation, just how bad things were, because you can tell when you talk to them that it's bad, but it's not just the fact that they don't have cable or they don't have power. I mean, it's the essentials. It's everything.
Yeah, and we're going to follow up on that in the coming weeks as well, see what kind of damage we've seen in the ag world.
Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll be talking about everyone's favorite dessert, king cake.
Oh, it's mine for sure. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Find all of these stories and more on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, turn on those notifications. That way you know when we put something new out there.
For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.